Hello, everyone. It's nice to see everyone tonight. I want to talk to you and ask you questions about connections within a community and how fear affects those connections. If we recognize and act positively to random connections that happen every day, I believe these snippets of time can influence our lives dramatically and affect the direction of our overall journey. We travel certain paths, some off the beaten track, some along the highways. All of these encounters help steer our lives. I'm going to ask you questions throughout my presentation. I want to make you think. I have had many experiences arriving in new places. Being in new environments leads to the process of making new connections. We have all had experiences. Starting new schools, we know those anxious feelings, wondering if we will fit in. We all want to be part of the social weave of a community. We all want to belong. Ask yourselves, take your time, and think how you would answer. What would you do? Would you leave it to chance? Would you create a plan? My choice is a bit of both. I went through a rough patch in my life 10 years ago and decided to walk every single day and to smile, make eye contact, and say hello to everyone I walked past. I had some interesting reactions. I could see the surprise on people's faces, and as the weeks went by, the people who I saw more than once started smiling back. I felt better, and I believe I added something positive to their lives. I moved to Cambridge 6 years ago, having few connections within the community. I began to think about how to integrate myself. My life so far had been as a hardworking stay-at-home parent and volunteer for 30 years. I had lost most of my community connections with the move. There are many ways we make connections within a community. I did not have a career to return to, or young children in a school. I am not good at being a student in a typical classroom at a desk, just not for me. What to do? What would you do? For me, it had to be art-related. For my first step, I applied and was accepted to the Cambridge Studio Tour. I was very excited. On the Monday morning after the tour, I was talking to a couple of the participating artists who voiced the observation that there was nowhere in Cambridge to permanently show and sell original art. I knew of an empty shop front, and on that same day, I went in and rented the space. I really did this. No planning. I knew this was it, a place to connect with the art community and customers alike. I took a chance and have been enjoying the benefits ever since. I am also a connector of artists and customers, which pleases me. I like seeing relationships within the community flourish because I have made the introductions. For those of you who have lived in one community for many years, do you become complacent? What happens when you live somewhere for 10 years? Do you continue to reach out? Not in big sweeping ways, but in the short snippets of time when the opportunity arises. These are important to keeping the integrity of the fabric of community together. I think it's really, really important. Does technology make connecting easier? Casually, yes. I believe we no longer live in a time where the norm is 6 degrees of separation. I think we may be down to about 4 now. There are varying views on whether the electronic connections count. Technology has effectively made the world a smaller place with various modes of transportation and communications. Not necessarily for the better, sometimes. How many of you have connections with people you have met face-to-face who are living in other countries? Show me. How many of you? Maybe 50%. What about connections over the internet? How many of you have made real friends that way? Not so many. Interesting, isn't it? Fear is a force that each of us grapples with every day in some form or another. Think about the last time you held back due to fear. Can you change how you respond by setting aside fear and taking more chances? I do not remember the first time I met Eric. I was not afraid of him, but he might have been afraid of me. But as you can see from the slides behind me, a collaboration of music and art resulted from our connection. As an aside, the actual painting took about as long as this speech. We all want to fit into the weave of a community. We all want to belong. Let's create a stronger community fabric. I suggest you look people in the eyes, smile, and greet them. Take up the challenge. Recognize the quick, random connections and value them. By the way, I'm now going to engage all of my connections I have made tonight to maybe changing my life. If you liked my presentation, found it thought-provoking and interesting, and know anyone who would enjoy meeting me. I'm single. Thank you.